Welcome to the Cybele Health Podcast, where we share science backed tools and expert insights to empower women's health and elevate their lives. Hello, welcome everyone to this new episode of Cybele Health Podcast. Today I'm joined by Meena Balaji, a Senior Data Analyst at Dell Technologies and an enthusiastic AI ML advocate. She specializes in leveraging data insights to drive business growth and shares GenAI productivity hacks to help professionals work smarter. Meena also publishes the AI Weekly Digest, hacking and breaking down the latest AI advancements for tech enthusiasts. Beyond AI, she is an author of multiple books, including Born Fearless, Not Free, a historical novel, and a practical guide to weight loss. With her passion for AI, storytelling, and data, Meena bridges the gap between technology and everyday life. Welcome, Meena.
Hey Zara, awesome to be on your podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. So, tell me a little bit about your personal journey, early life, education. How does it look like? And all the way through immigrating here to the US.
All right. So I was born in the coastal town of Chennai in southern India. And I had, in the 70s, so I'm actually dating myself here, but in the late 70s. And it was an idyllic life there. I came from a middle class background, absolutely enjoyed my life, had lots of cousins, aunts, uncles, everybody living near me. And, it was a lot of fun growing up at that time. We had very less, but it was a good life. Um, I studied a master's in computer science in India, and then I started working in a multinational company there called Cognizant Technologies. That gave me an opportunity to, work in UK for a year in a company called Tesco, which is like our Costco in the UK. So that was a really, fun, exposure to a foreign country. I hadn't traveled outside India till then, so it was a great exposure. And also, I learned a lot. Apart from the culture, I learned a lot about how things work in a large organization like that. So when I came back, I got married, and as it's custom in India, it is an arranged marriage. And immediately after the marriage, husband and wife, we moved to the US, and with just $1,000 in our pocket, and it was a struggle because um, just, I mean, the thought of coming to a new country with hardly any money, knew no one here. And he had to find work, I had to find work, and, and also we are polar personalities. And because it was an arranged marriage, we never knew who we are getting married to. So it was fun learning all that. And after all adjustments and learning how marriage works, in between the struggle of the visa processing and, financial burden, we made it. And, it's been a honest blessing to learn so much in such a short amount of time. And I was always blessed to get the visa lottery. A lot of people have struggled with that. I got the lottery the first time around, and I've been very fortunate to find work thereafter. So that's how it has been, and good 15 years now here, and it's been a wonderful ride.
Nice, great. So there are lots of questions that I want to ask, but I want to just tap into the fact that lots of us as a woman move here either by choice or by following our, life partner. And yeah, we definitely face lots of challenges from the culture shock all the way to entering into, different workplaces with different cultures. and just adjusting to the new settings is
Mhm.
definitely challenging, and it has been challenging for everybody, even for me. I came as a single, but still it was challenging, definitely. So tell me a little bit about balancing everything, as a woman, as a wife, and also as a professional woman working in a new workplaces. How did you manage to balance everything? What challenges did you face? And how did you overcome those challenges?
So, like with most women, I initially started with prioritizing everybody else but myself. So, so it was the family, it was the kids, it was work. Everything comes before I did, right? And I realized after almost 10 years of doing that, that was not making me happy. It was making me underperform in every field of life that I was, facing, be it work, be it family, be it my kids, be it my, whatever. I wanted to study more. I wanted to continue to educate myself, anything, right? Because I put everybody else ahead of me. I was underachieving and I was not happy. All right. So, what I decided is, you know, I wanted to be very conscious about how I spent my time. So I became very, what do you say, conscious in the way I spend time. What I did was I said, like, I will begin my day by first prioritizing me. So get my cup filled before I start giving out, right? So I am a very early riser. So I chose to be an early riser. I was not one before that. So I get up very early. I do exercise. I do yoga. I dance. I'm a part of a dance troupe. So I practice for my dance performances. A quick plug, we will be dancing in Houston in April. So I'm looking forward to that performance. So I'll be
Oh
traveling
my
to
God,
Houston.
that's amazing. I
Yeah,
love dancing.
thank you so much. I would love to hear more about what you enjoy as well, which form of dance you enjoy. So yeah, so I do all that. So and I pursue a hobby. If I pick up some hobby for that particular phase of time, I will pursue that. And after that, after I've given myself 2 hours in the morning, my cup is full. All right, now I'm ready to cook. I'm ready to attack my work. I'm ready to help my children with their homework. Everything else falls in place because I am happy in the morning and I'm really looking forward to the day.
That's great. That's a great advice. All of us need to not only hear that, but also do that, plan for it,
Yeah.
obviously.
No,
Yeah.
even if you're not an early riser, I would strongly urge yourself, just like you have a cup of coffee to start. That cup of coffee is just giving you a boost. But if you can give yourself a boost by either exercising, meditating, whatever, right? Whatever is your choice of activity, right? I think that would keep you, it would be your, just imagine having coffee for the rest of the day. You would have that
Mhm.
energy, not just that 1 hour kick.
Exactly. Exactly. And especially for those of us who have young kids, it could
Yes.
be really overwhelming and challenging because they have so many needs for every single thing they need us.
Yes.
Moms are the first one to go to for anything,
Always. Always. Always.
and
And
balancing
and
that
it
with
is
life and
it's
work.
joy to be like that because I now I have an older one who is in high school and a younger one who's just finishing elementary. So that since he's just finishing elementary, I'm at the phase where he's going to transition to a little bit more preteen lifestyle. So looking back now, I think the times when my kids needed me a lot were actually endearing. At
Mhm.
that time, it was bothersome because
Mhm.
they are constantly in need of your time and their priorities come ahead of your own priorities, right? Because if they need something, they need it right now, right? So it is how do I say, for a lack of a better word, at that time it is challenging and irritating sometimes, right? But now looking back, I think that now the children are more independent. One is getting independent and one is already independent. I at times miss that dependency that they had on me,
Yes.
right? So, and I do recognize that it is going to be a process of letting go. They are going to get more and more and more independent. At some point in time, they will not need me at all. And that
Yes.
is the goal, that they should not need me at all,
Yes.
right? But till I get there, I'm consciously enjoying this phase of dependency.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So, what life hacks helped you to get through that phase where, their needs are really prioritized, Um, what did you do?
I will not deny that I was irritated, and I will not deny that I have cried sometimes, right? Because sometimes it's so overwhelming as to how many things that we have to juggle that you are like, oh my God, there's only 24 hours. What can I do, right? It did happen, and I would not say I have the perfect hack, but what I would say is this particular habit of, filling my cup has really helped,
Mhm.
right? The morning routine of doing something for myself, I don't feel deprived that I have not done something that I feel is worthwhile before I start giving out. Because if I don't do that, then I'm just giving and giving and not doing something for myself, right? So, whatever that something is, I feel that even if you spend 30 minutes on that something for yourself, I feel that one would be less, what do you say? Or rather, let's say this, will be more equipped to handle small kids, the challenge of, the constant need from small kids.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. So, I've been also there. I'm still in the middle of it. I have also elementary kids, elementary age kids.
Mhm.
But one is very young in TK and still needs me a lot. So one life hack that helped me was to create a calendar and share that with my husband.
Mhm.
It's a me time calendar.
Mhm.
Another one is also my cycle calendar. So he knows that biologically, hormonally, when are my ups and downs, and what days of the month I have more needs. And then through that, we arrange to have me times. But not only me, but also my husband or life partners. They also need some, me time, especially when we both are trying to build this family and grow this family. And especially for most of us who don't have close family or friends to help us, on a constant time, or don't have, you know, babysitting helps for whatever reason. So I think it's really important to have that um, alone time kind of plan and be at the same page. And also have plan Bs for it. So like block a calendar, and if this didn't happen for whatever reason, I'm gonna do that. That's my plan B. That definitely helps.
That's amazing.
Um,
I mean, that's amazing that you also have, that sort of a support, right? That you build that sort of a support because it
yeah,
sometimes doesn't come naturally. You need to make a conscious decision to build that support system.
right, right. It didn't come naturally at the beginning, to be honest.
No, it doesn't
So
to
we had
any.
lots of struggles,
Yeah,
but we learned from those.
yeah,
We learned from those. We have to prioritize it and we have to plan for it.
yeah.
And yeah,
And
that's what we
and
did.
and I totally agree, right? Behind, like they say, behind every successful man, there is a woman. So is behind every successful woman, there is a man who's supporting her all the way, right?
Definitely,
So that it's a
definitely.
mutual family decision. So that's amazing that you've been able to do that.
Yeah, thank you. So, as a AI scientist, I'm really curious to know about your AI digest. First of all, what was the idea? How did you come up with the idea? And tell me more about it.
Right. So what I do is I enjoy reading, so I read a lot, and and this AI has been, I mean, when AI came about, it was very interesting. I was always interested in data science, and even before, OpenAI and ChatGPT, I did go ahead and get myself a data science certification. So that was a natural instinct to understand what's happening in that field. But as I continue to learn, I realized that many in my own team were not using many of the little hacks that were available to them, but they didn't know existed. So what you don't know, you're not going to use, right? So it started off as a little, tips and tricks, a mail within my colleagues, and now I have 200, 300 people on that distribution list within my office. Now, as an extension of that, I thought, like, there is so many things, but that is very office focused. This is what I do for my team, which is very um, particular to the tool sets that we have available within our workspace. I am sharing tips and tricks on how to do that, use that better within my team. Now, as I was reading, I found many that we do not have within the workspace, but would be still useful to someone, right? So that was the reason why I started the newsletter. So I'm reading this. I would love to share it with you. If it makes you a little bit, either have fun. I do share a meme in every newsletter based on the current affairs that is happening at that time. I share there would be definitely headline news. There would be research news. There would be even a prompt idea, a reusable prompt that I share, and a little bit of a joke, which will be either a meme or a joke based on AI and current affairs happening in the AI world. The meme side of it, I really enjoy because it lets me explore the creative side of me, right? I I like the fact that I can take a meme and add an AI twist to it. So that is something I enjoy, and I hope folks would be able to either have a aha moment with it or a aha laugh with it.
That's great. That's great. I I love jokes, although I'm not good at it. But I love when I read something that has that tone of being funny and, a little relaxed and laid back.
Yeah.
Um, how can people find your newsletter?
The newsletter I post on my LinkedIn,
Mhm.
so you can subscribe it by just connecting with me on LinkedIn.
That's great. Okay. We'll all do. So now let's tap into your book, Fearless Not Free. Tell us a little bit about the story behind the book. How did the idea started? What did you go through? That's great. Awesome.
Yeah. So that's my book. It's available on Amazon. This book is particularly something that I am very proud of, and also something that is my way of keeping my own legacy alive. This book is about my grandfather, it's biographical. So it's about my grandfather who was a freedom fighter in India in the 1930s and 40s. So India at that time, as you would know, it was under the British rule, and there was a fight for freedom. And he was one of the freedom fighters from southern India. And this is a story of his life, beginning from his early childhood up until um, up until India got free in 1947. So how this book came about is in COVID, during COVID, my grandfather passed away in 2021 at not because of COVID, but because of old age. He lived to be 102. So
Oh,
had a very
okay.
healthy life, and he was also very socially, he had a great network of people around him, his own family, his friends. So he lived a very full life. I am the first granddaughter in the family, and I couldn't go for his death only because there was a COVID restriction at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt I was I mean, I was distraught, right? And
Okay.
I wanted to some way connect with him. And so I started writing. He was also a novelist. So I started reading the books. My mom read a lot of his books and said, this is what happened. And the entire family, it was a family project. I am just the writer, but the family gave in all the inputs. We collected a lot of material. We From his life story, what happened. And also, fortunately, one of the main sources for this book was another book by a researcher. And she had interviewed my grandfather in the 1980s, and she had written a book about him. Now, I just cold called her. She lives in Delhi, India, and I just called her, and she just picked up the phone. She was 85 herself at that time. And I said, I am so and so's granddaughter, and he passed away. I'm just looking for information to, write a book about him. Would you be able to give me your archives? And she very nicely gave me all the material that she had. And that was a great influence in me writing the book. So I was also, it was like meant to be, like, who picks up a random call from a person and sort of listens to them, what is their request, and sort of fulfills. Who does that, right? And I knew her
Mm-hmm.
not at all. None of us in the family knew her, right? So and her book was, insights from her book also, I spun it into the story of my grandfather's life. So that's why the book is called Born Fearless but Not Free, right? Because he was born fearless, but he was not born in a free country. So that was the book, and it's been well received, and it's been a way to, not only share my story or my grandfather's story with the world, but also it served as a healing for me to spend that time with my grandfather's life, which I could not be at when I could not be at his deathbed, right? So in a way, it was cathartic. And yeah,
Definitely.
so and also the entire family pitched in, so it was a humongous bonding experience.
Definitely. Definitely. Wow. I'm sorry for your loss, first of all, and but lots of us experienced a great loss and going through um, that painful process of dealing with that. Definitely, definitely, it's challenging,
Yes.
especially during the COVID and even after that, right? Because we do our dealing with the loss like in so many different ways. So going back to the roots and exploring memories, hopefully like happy memories or even sad memories, helps a lot to understanding and celebrating their lives, but also understanding how they impacted, ourselves, our personality, who we are today. So I think it's really a great idea that,
Yeah.
you were able to write the book and all the family members, helped you to get there. This
Yeah.
kind of a family project.
And
Um,
it had a lot of unexpected, things that happened as well. Like, I was never a history buff. But as I was researching, what was happening in World War One, what was happening in World War Two, how did it shape India? I never connected the dots between a world war and what was happening in India and the colonization that was happening in India. I it gave me an insight which I am thankful for, an appreciation of history that I'm thankful for, which I didn't have at all. I hated history in school. And I just absolutely hated it. But I now have great respect and understanding of it, at least as much as an understanding I do have at this point, and definitely a lot more appreciation. And also, it gave me, what do you say, a boost that I could write. I have never written prior, right? And it gave me, a boost that I could write, and basically I had it exposed me to a creative side I did know existed. So in all ways, it was a absolutely wonderful experience.
That's great. It's amazing. Okay, so I know that you have lots of books, and this is not the only one. So let's talk about the other book of yours, Five Easy Steps to Lose Weight. You know, women go through so many different stages in their lives, and not physically, but also mentally, we go through so many changes and challenges. And one of those is especially around having a child and pregnancy. Losing weight is definitely one of the stages that all of us has experienced in our lives at some level, right? So tell me more about this book and what are those five easy steps?
All right. So this book again is also available on Amazon, and that's the book. And this book was also like a personal, this one is also a personal journey. So um, I come from a family of really obese people. So we have a very strong obesity gene. That apart, I I I was absolutely not taking care of myself. So both compounded. Um, I was always plump, meaning to say, like in school, I was about 200 pounds. That is when I was about 15, 16, I was 200 pounds,
Mm,
right? Obese, really obese. And I was called actually Bamblimas.
oh,
Bamblimas in the local language means fatso, all right?
mhm.
But it was said in such an endearing way that I didn't bother. I wore it like a badge. I'm Bamblimas. I rather be called Bamblimas than Meena. So I wore it like a badge. But it did affect me because I was not so mobile. I used to really amble along. And but I just walked through life with that. And but when marriage came, there is a social pressure to look nice on the day of your marriage, right? It's across the globe, whichever country, right? It's always there.
Definitely.
You need to look as beautiful as you can be on the day of your marriage. So at that time, I did a lot of fat diets, and I reduced about 50 pounds, and it looked fairly good, and got married and came here again. The stress of coming to a new country, figuring everything out. In the midst of all that, we got pregnant, and so the when this first child came along, it was like, okay, now I'm eating for two, so I can eat as much as I want, now binge eat. Oh, the child needs this, the child needs that. The child will be hungry at all odd hours of the day. So yeah, again, put back all these pounds and more. And the OBGYN was constantly telling me, you're putting on too much of weight. But again, and when the child was born, I could hardly stand in the kitchen and cook, probably, let's say 15, 20 minutes, right? If I stand in the kitchen for about 20 minutes, I have to go and sit down. There was so much of weight on my body, right? And my legs couldn't support. And
Mhm.
let alone, like you said, right, having children running around and no help, right? That's another thing for people who immigrate, right? They leave behind all the family and support mechanism. So it's pretty much the couple who have to figure it out. And predominantly, at least initially in the child's life, many of the hours would come from the mom, right? And definitely the dads, I would say my husband helped a lot. But the stress of feeding the child, making sure the child is sleeping well, predominantly used to fall on the mother. And I couldn't really take on all that with the extra weight. I wasn't active at all. I used to be very sleepy, and so I, on a whim, went and joined a 4K race in the office, just to say, okay, I'm joining a 4K race. Let me see if, this will put my weight down. And fortunately or unfortunately, my entire team joined. Now it became a social pressure. Like, I have to
Mhm.
at least finish the race. I just joined because, okay, I got my name on that list and done. I'm not going to even walk that race. All right. But now, the minute the entire team joined, it became like a social pressure. I have to at least finish for heaven's sakes. So, I started training, and with the team, we started training, and I again lost weight. Right. Now I knew that, there could be something more than this, yo-yo of putting weight, losing weight, and putting weight, losing weight. And the second kid came along, again, I put on weight. So it was just too much, right? So I said there must be actually a more methodical way to do this. And that's how I came up with this book, Five Easy Steps to Weight Loss from Home. Again, it was from home only because again, it was during the COVID time, and not many gyms were open. So I had to figure out a way to do everything from home. So, to cut to the chase, what actually worked for me was intermittent fasting. I follow it to this day. And to all those people who've asked me, don't you feel hungry? Honestly, I do not feel hungry. I can go to dinners and birthday parties, and I can feed everyone and not eat, because the body recognizes that's not the time to eat. People say, "Oh my God, you have a lot of self-control." No, I do not. I do not have that self control. It's just that the body recognizes that that's not the time to eat. It's become a habit. It's like if you are a coffee drinker, you cannot do without your morning coffee. For me, because I've been intermittent fasting for the last 4 5 years, I cannot eat after about 6 o'clock. I cannot eat. The body
Mhm.
resists.
What is your fasting window?
My fasting window presently is actually 18 hours. So I stop eating. Yeah, I do the 18. But I didn't start with the 18-hour fast. I started with a 12-hour fasting window,
Mhm.
right? Once I got comfortable with that, I kept moving it. And I'm comfortable with the 18, with a 6 hour eating window, and I eat 2 meals in that 6 hour. I don't do the warrior diet where they do one meal a day. I don't do that. I do 2 meals in that 6 hour window, and then that's that. And after that, it's just water, right? And I don't deprive myself. For I eat cake, I eat ice creams, I eat chocolate. So I'm not fasting, and I'm not in any. I'm not what to say. Not saying I am fasting, but I'm not depriving myself. If I want to eat a bag of chips, oh yeah, it's within my eating window. At the same time, I try to eat healthy. It's not like a bag of chips and a bar of chocolate every day, right? But I don't deny myself, is what I'm saying. And many of my friends now are very supportive. Um, they try as much as possible to have lunch meetups, because they know Meena will come for a dinner meeting but will not eat.
Yes, that's
So
great.
I would say that people will understand and be supportive of you. Um, And that should not be a reason why you wouldn't start eating healthy,
Mhm.
or whatever works for you, right? But
Right.
do something that would, make make that difference in your life. For me, it has been
Sure.
intermittent fasting.
There are lots of benefits, health benefits to intermittent fasting. I have also benefited a lot from that. And
Nice.
I went through the same after my second one. I had so many health challenges that I had to even go through a surgery for one of those, which I was able to prevent that only through intermittent fasting
Very
and
nice.
adding exercise as a daily routine, consistently into my schedule. So the other thing that I wanted to point out about intermittent fasting is that recent studies has shown that women have started to experiencing premenopause symptoms much earlier in their lives compared
Mhm.
to five,
Very
ten
true.
years ago.
Very
It
true.
now starts in late 30s, early 40s,
Yeah,
and
early 40s.
it
Yes.
start, yeah, it can start with like light symptoms of hot flashes and those things. And intermittent fasting can also help on managing those symptoms or even reducing those symptoms significantly. Now,
Have you
on the other side,
have you observed that your sleep quality is better because now you fasting, and that has been my
exactly, yeah.
observation that my sleep quality is so much better with the fasting. Is that your experience as well?
Yeah, yeah, sure, definitely. I was like roaming around the room and waking up multiple times, and definitely it helped in so many levels. My concentration, my level of energy during the day. Now I'm at a point that when I eat, I feel sleepy. As long as I'm not eating, I have lots of energy. Um, but yeah, so but there is one factor to it, that the experience that you get and the result that you get from intermittent fasting is really different depending on your lifestyle, your personality, your genes, your biology, and all of that. So try to explore that and be curious about it and see what fits best for you. But
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, what do you recommend as the bare minimum that people can start today?
Bare minimum would be best case scenario, have dinner by 6, or worst case scenario, have dinner by 7.
Hmm.
That would be my recommendation. And best case scenario, go to bed at 10. Worst case scenario, go to bed at 11. 10
Hmm.
preferable. It's said that the most restful sleep is had between 10 to 2.
Hmm.
So I understand that many folks cannot go to bed at 10 because 10 is probably their early evening. So please try and do that at least by 11, and you can bring it to 10 at some point in time. So dinner by 7, bed by 10 would be a great goal to have.
That's great. Yeah, definitely. Prioritize your sleep and make it a non-negotiable fact into your life, and have a plan, have a routine for it, and try to, especially for women, especially when you are in your, midlife, it's really important to prioritize your sleep because it gives you the energy and boost and all the hormones that you need, all the supplements that you take. Your body can naturally produce it if you have a healthy lifestyle, including a very consistent sleep patterns and sleep routines. Um, that
And
was
also
really
sleep
great.
quality, right? Like
Sleep
when you
quality,
go to
right?
bed at
Definitely.
that time, your sleep, since the your best sleeping hours are between 10 to 2, if you go to sleep at that time, it's like having a power charger to your battery
Mhm.
instead of having a slow charger to your battery. Which would you rather have your iPhone or Android phone use, right? A power charger. So when you can give yourself a power charger, why are you settling for less? Right?
Exactly.
And I would say the quantity of time. So I've had this question, right? Okay, you sleep 7 hours, I sleep 7 hours. How are you more active? The reason is it's not just the quantity, it's the quality. And the quality of the sleep will be dependent on when you sleep, right?
Mhm.
So you can't compare just the 7. It's just the 7 hours is not the best indicator of how rested you are. How many hours you slept, yes, it's the same. But how rested and how ready you are for the next day, it's not the same.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, that was really great and insightful conversation. I really enjoyed it. Do you have any final words or recommendation? We talked about so many different things, I know. But do you have anything for our audience?
And I just have one thing is for all the women, I would highly recommend that you prioritize yourself, get your cup full before you give out. So that is what I would like to, say to your audience. And Zara, you've been a wonderful host, and I want you to
Thank
wish
you.
you the very best. And hope to see great things from you very soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to our channel. If you enjoyed that, share that with your friends. Follow us. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. You can also follow Meena if you like to get her AI weekly digest. And her books are on Amazon. We will put the links below. Um, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Until next time, take care of yourself.
Bye bye.